Who will win the first major piece of silverware this season? Manchester City versus Arsenal at Wembley. The Carabao Cup is up for grabs. Tolu, we've got the top two in the Premier League. Will this result have any bearing on the title race?
Oh, I probably would give an opinion that most people wouldn't accept. I feel like it's obviously a very important final. It's the first piece of silver, especially against two teams who have become rivals for the Premier League title in the last 3-4 seasons. I think no one saw Liverpool coming to win it last year, so that's probably what maybe diluted the rivalry a bit last time out. Everyone thinks if Arsenal lose this final, it could hand momentum to City in the title race. I don't think so. I feel like this Arsenal team is pretty different from all the other Arsenal teams. I think they just take it as a blip and then move on. But that said, City, everyone talks about their experience at this level and how good these players are at winning trophies. And people forget that if you take out Rodri and maybe Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake, John Stones, who doesn't probably play a lot anymore. Nathan Ake also doesn't play a lot anymore. Bernardo Silva. There's just a sprinkle of the actual experienced City team that actually wins trophies. The likes of the guys who are new and now making the impact at the club are basically winless in the Premier League. They haven't pretty won anything in England, to be honest. Look at Semenyo, who's joined up, Reinhard Nuri, Ryan Cherky, Tijani Reinders. These aren't guys who've won anything, especially in England. And so that conversation around City have a lot of experience. City know how to win these games. Yes, Manchester City as a club know how to win these games. But these particular players, it's virgin territory for them. For Arsenal, I think the pain of losing out constantly, especially to City and Liverpool over the last 3 to 4 years, it's a big driver. And if there's one thing you can be sure about this Arsenal team in this final is they will be up for it. I think they probably will be more up for it than the City team will be. I think City have got they've got their own motivation. Obviously, they're obviously very hurt from that elimination by Real Madrid in the Champions League. But I just feel like it's a final where form doesn't matter, to be honest. City are capable of one good performance. And to be honest, if they want to pick a performance against anyone in the Premier League, they'd probably pick it against Arsenal. Look, the first game in the league when they met at the Emirates, City were close to winning the game, even though there was a lot of negative comments about how Pep Guardiola approached the game and was a little ultra defensive, which was very shocking from a City perspective. That just shows you how much respect both teams give each other. Arsenal also have been notoriously respectful of the teams in and around them. I saw them play against Liverpool over 2 legs, and you could almost tell that Arsenal are never going to go gung-ho against any team, especially City and Liverpool. So don't expect Arsenal to start the game and attack City all that much. And that's where the difference probably lies. City, as far as I'm concerned, have nothing to lose. They're probably going to be the ones who are going to carry the attacking threat in this one. And Arsenal are probably going to try to keep it tight. And of course, they've got the threat from set pieces. It's going to be very, very interesting. I don't think you should expect a super exciting game. I think there's too much at stake for both teams. And psychologically, one is trying to get the edge over the other. So I think the most likely team to make it cagey will be Arsenal. I think Arsenal could benefit if it's cagey. But I think City want to open it up because don't forget, they've probably got the best goal scorer in world football still on their team. He might be experienced a bit of a goal drought, but he's got an incredible record against Arsenal, always seems to score against them. So that could be the key factor here. I think City will be expansive and try to express themselves. Arsenal, on the other hand, I think they'll be trying to keep it as tight as possible. I think the more boring it gets, the more likely Arsenal are going to win.
You mentioned that form doesn't really matter going into this one, but what about form in its most immediate sense, that being the mixed European results for both sides? Obviously, Arsenal boosted by their win over Bayer Leverkusen. City dumped out the Champions League by Real Madrid. So how much of a factor will those performances be coming into Sunday?
Look, I do not mean to put down Arsenal's victory over Bayer Leverkusen, but to be honest, I thought the English teams had horrible draws in that Champions League. Chelsea drew the champions PSG, which the game could have gone anyway, to be honest. Manchester City drew the team they always draw, Real Madrid, who, when they hear the anthem of the Champions League, can be beasts. And of course, Atletico Madrid are no slouches. They taught Tottenham Hotspur. They showed Tottenham Hotspur, especially while they're season campaigners in the Champions League. And to be honest, Leverkusen are not a small team. Yes, they did win the German Bundesliga, I think, 2 seasons ago. But look, if you ask all the 4 English teams whether they'd rather play Leverkusen than the teams they play, they probably all would tell you they'd rather play Leverkusen at the end of the day. So I don't think that maybe makes the Arsenal victory have a big consequence. I think if Arsenal played one of the bigger teams in Europe and come through that, that could have been a factor. But again, like I said, you can't really you can only play the team in front of you, and that's exactly what Arsenal did in quite spectacular form. But I still feel like form, like you said, is not a factor here. It's one game, it's a cup game. The tactics are different. You can't settle for a point. Someone's got to win.
Well, with that in mind, Tolu, which way is your betting cap going to be positioned? Is it going towards the Gunners lifting their trophy or Man City getting the hands on the Carabao Cup instead? Which way, if you had the money, which way are you going to go?
I do not want Arsenal fans to come for me here, but look, Arsenal have lost the most Carabao Cup finals. In recent memory, since I've been old enough, every Carabao Cup final I've seen Arsenal play, they've lost it. City hardly lose at Wembley. They did lose to Berchi Eze and his Crystal Palace team, but they usually lose when they are the favourites. And I don't think City have ever gone into a final as underdogs. And it's quite bizarre that they do go into this one as underdogs. And I think that's what's going to make them very, very dangerous. Like I said, if this game is anything close to interesting, City will win. If it's tight, Arsenal will get the point. Arsenal will probably do it. That said, I don't think it's going to be interesting. And I don't think it's going to be decided in 90 minutes. I think this one goes to extra time. I would go a full-time draw here. And if I would go one step closer, I'd hurt Arsenal fans and say City to lift the trophy.
Very bold, but I see your logic. Will Arsenal get their first leg of the quadruple? We'll have to wait and see, but we'll be back next week. Thanks as always, Tolu.
Thank you very much.